Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to Social Science classes from excelup.com. In this video, you will be learning about forest and wildlife. You will learn about flora and fauna in India. You will learn about the types of species as per IUCN classification. Then you will learn about the regions of depletion of biodiversity. You will also learn about conservation in India with special emphasis on community participation in conservation. So let us start with biodiversity in India. What is biodiversity? The sheer variety of animals and plants and other living beings in a given geographical area is called biodiversity of that area. Some places they are rich in biodiversity, for example the rainforests of Amazon, and some places they are very poor in biodiversity, for example the Sahara Desert. India is naturally endowed with rich biodiversity, which is evident from the fact that 8% of total number of species of the world is found in India. So India is home to 80,000 species of fauna and 47,000 species of flora. So that is a good sign, but the matter of concern is that 10% of flora and 20% of fauna in India is under the category of threatened species. So that means these species, they are endangered and they can become extinct. So some of the examples are cheetah, pink-headed duck, mountain quail, spotted owl, a wild species of mahua, etc. IUCN classification, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, it has categorized species into 6 types. So let us start with endemic species. A species which is found in a particular geographical area only is called the endemic species for that area. For example, the kangaroos, they are endemic to Australia. Lion-tailed macaques are endemic to our country, that is to the Nilgiri hills, the areas around Nilgiri hills. Then there is Andaman teal and Nicobar pigeon. They are endemic to the Andaman Nicobar Islands. As far as other categories are concerned, we will look at this list. So you will find a different order of these categories in your textbook, but I have deliberately reordered them so that it becomes easier for you to remember. So I have ordered them according to the threat perception. So the normal species, it comes at the top. The species whose population is at a level so that it is pretty easy for them to survive in the given circumstances is called normal species. So cattle, rodents, sow, crows, pigeons, they are normal species. If the population falls down and the species, it is at the verge of becoming vulnerable or endangered, then it is called rare species. So examples are Himalayan brown bear, wild Asiatic buffalo, desert fox, hornbill, etc. If the population further goes down and the species is at the risk of becoming endangered species, then it is called vulnerable species. So blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, Gangetic dolphin, these are examples of vulnerable species. If the population further go down and now it is at the verge of extinction, then it is called endangered species. So black buck, crocodile, Indian wild ass, rhino, lion-tailed macaque, these are endangered species. And if the species is altogether wiped off from the planet, then it is called extinct species. So you can take the name of dinosaur, they are extinct. But recent examples are Asiatic cheetah, pink-headed duck, these are extinct species. So what are the regions of decline in biodiversity? During colonial rule, the major region was expansion of the railways. So vast tracts of forest was cleared to lay the railway lines. Then there was expansion in agriculture also. The colonial rulers, they practiced commercial and scientific forestry. They increased mining activities also, and all of this resulted in forest being cleared. So destruction of forest resulted in destruction of habitat of many valuable species. Even after independence, more or less same practices continued. So as per data, between 1950 to 1980, 26,200 square kilometer of forest was converted to farmland to ensure that agriculture can be increased. 5,000 square kilometer of forest was cleared for hydel projects, for hydroelectricity projects in this period. Even in modern times, the Narmada Sagar project in Madhya Pradesh, it is projected to inundate around 40,000 hectares of forest land. So just imagine what will happen after such a vast area of forest is cleared or destroyed. All the wildlife and plant species, they will have no home for them. So all of them, they will be destroyed. So these are the reasons for decline in biodiversity. So we can sum up that habitat destruction, hunting, poaching, overexploitation and pollution are the reasons for destruction of biodiversity. And this results in unequal access to resources. So some people, they get better access to resources, others they don't. And as a result, what happens, some people, they become rich, and those who are left out, they become poor. And this eventually results in conflicts in the society. There is a perception that overpopulation in the third world countries is a major cause of destruction of biodiversity, but this is far from the truth. So we can compare the examples of India and USA. The population of India is many times more compared to that of USA, but an average citizen of the USA consumes 40 times more resources compared to an average citizen of India. So overpopulation is not a cause for destruction of habitat. Now, what are the other direct impacts? So people who are living in or around forest, they are directly affected because of this destruction. So forest dwellers, tribal people, what happens, they depend on forest for many items like firewood, game animals, medicinal plants. Many of the tribal, they sell kendu leaves for livelihood. Some of them, they are indulged in sericulture also. So if the forests are destroyed, their livelihood is destroyed. So they are directly impacted. Women, especially in rural areas, they are also impacted because what happens in villages, women have many responsibilities like getting firewood, drinking water, and you must have seen pictures of women walking miles and miles to fetch drinking water or to get firewood. So if the forests are cleared, these women, they will have to walk even longer, they will have to work even harder to ensure the basic materials, the basic necessities, they are available in their homes. So these people, they are deeply impacted because of destruction of wildlife. Okay. So what is the way out? The way out is a proper conservation effort. In India, we can say that the conservation efforts started with implementation of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, and this happened in 1972. So many programs were carried out for protection of animals, especially for endangered animals. For example, Project Tiger was launched to protect the tigers and to increase the population of tigers. Similar projects were carried out to protect the rhinos and elephants and even the Asiatic lions. The government, it classified forests into three categories called reserved forest, protected forest and unclassed forest. More than half of the total forest was given the category of reserved forest, and almost no human activity was permitted in reserved forest. 1/3 of the total forest was put under protected forest. Remaining area was called unclassed forest. So human activity was permitted in unclassed forest. Okay, the tribal people, they can take certain materials of need from protected forest. Initially, the local people and community, it was kept at a distance from conservation effort, and this alienated the people. So the experience from other countries and even from India suggested that community participation is highly important for carrying out proper conservation effort. Even we have a rich tradition of religious and other practices which show that we have always taken care of our resources. So in many rituals, you can observe that people, they worship trees. People also worship animals. Okay, it is not only the tribals, even people from the mainstream society, they worship trees like peepal tree or banyan tree or mango trees. The tribals, they earmark a particular spot in the forest as sacred grove where they worship the trees, and they don't do any activity to annoy the nature in sacred groups. Another example is of Chipko movement, which was started by women of Reni village in Garhwal district to prevent chopping of trees by contractors, and the Chipko movement, it spread gradually to other parts of the country. In Alwar, in a village in Rajasthan, people have earmarked a sanctuary. They have named it Bhairav Dev Dakab Sanctuary, and they take good care of blackbacks and other species in that sanctuary. The Bisnois of Rajasthan, they have traditionally taken care of blackbucks and khejrali trees. So we have so many examples of community involvement in conservation. So the government effort should go along with the community effort towards conservation, and this will obviously give better result than whatever results were attained because of alienation of the community. So to sum up, I talked about the biodiversity, then I talked about IUCN classification of species into different types, then I talked about the regions of depletion of biodiversity and effects of depletion of biodiversity, then I talked about the conservation effort taken by the government and taken by the community in our country. So that's all for this lesson. Thank you.